Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is our first big test, okay, our Unit 1 on logic. So we're going to take a look at our review today. This video is here to help you guys out, so let's get cracking on it. Using the law of detachment, write the conclusion of the logical argument. Now, law of detachment was if P then Q, P is true, then Q is true. So if angle A and angle B are vertical, then they are congruent. Angle A and angle B are vertical, so therefore they are congruent. Okay, it's that simple, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Using the law of syllogism, write the conclusion of the logical argument. This is the one that's like if P then Q, if Q then R, if P then R. If angle B and angle C are a linear pair, then they are supplementary. If angles are supplementary, then the sum is 180. You can actually, for syllogism, cross these out, and whatever is left is your answer. If angle B and angle C are a linear pair, then their sum is 180 degrees. Okay? Wonderful. Match the statement with the correct property. Each property is used only once. So we're going to go down the line here. If GH plus IJ equals KL plus IJ, then GH equals KL. Notice all they did was subtract IJ from both sides because it's now gone. The opposite of plus is to subtract. So I'm looking for subtraction over here. There's my A, subtraction property of equality. As you do this, all right, cross them off because you're only going to use them one time each. All right. If Z equals 5, then 5 equals Z. This is that, like Mrs. Long was talking about in class, the heart idea where you can flip it over. That's symmetric. So symmetric property of equality. All right, C. All right. If RS equals TU and TU equals VW, then RS equals VW. Notice how there's 3 equal signs here? 1, 2, 3. And that little thing I was saying in class, RST, 1, 2, 3. This is the T1, transitive property of equality. Now, for this one, oh, there we go, H. I was looking for it. Man, it's early in the morning. My apologies. Okay, now one thing to point out, notice how we have transitive property of equality, and we also have transitive property of congruent angles. We're going to get to that a little later on. Notice that there wasn't any angles here, so I didn't pick that one. AB is congruent to AB. Now, this is your reflexive. You're looking in the reflection in the mirror. But I have 2 options over here. Reflexive property of congruent segments, reflexive property of congruent angles. Just check out the symbols, all right, because you're going to see this on the test as well. Does this symbol above stand for segment or angle? Hopefully you guys are comfortable with segments, okay? So this, coming back over here, is going to be E, reflexive property of congruent segments. Number 6, AB is congruent to CD, then CD is congruent to AB. So again, it's that heart-shaped symmetric. You're flipping it over. But notice again, am I dealing with angles or segments? Well, the line above stands for segments, so symmetric property of congruent segments, J. Okay? Forgetting to cross these off, my apologies. All right, number 7, if measure of angle L equals 60 degrees, then 2 times measure of angle L equals 120. Now, again, this is a little bit kind of tricky, but what are you doing from here to here? The move is that you're multiplying the left side by 2 and the right side by 2. So when you're multiplying, that's just your multiplication property of equality. You're just looking for the move they are making. Number 8, if measure of angle A equals 50 degrees, then 15 degrees plus measure of angle A equals 65 degrees. Again, what are you doing from left to right? You're adding 15 to both sides. So I'm adding, that's your addition property of equality. Okay. Number 9, if the measure of angle 1 is congruent to angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 2 is congruent to angle 3, then angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Again, here's your 1, 2, 3, 3 signs. Now, there was some talk in class of what's this symbol. This symbol right here, this one's equalities, equal, equalities, equal. this one is congruent. Okay? Congruency in geometry is basically like saying the same, like let's say 5 equals 5. We all know that. 5, the number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is equal to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? The same value. Now for congruent, we're talking about measures. We're talking about angles. So you can say like a 45-degree angle is congruent to a 45-degree angle. It's just an extra term that we use for measuring a distance, measuring an angle, so on. Like if you ever notice the desks that we have in class, one desk is congruent to the other desk because they're the same measures, same parameters. Okay? It's just a different way of looking at it. So back to here, because I have 3, I know it's transitive property. But now instead of, see how we had all these equalities of equality, of equality, of equality, transitive property of congruent, and then this little symbol, the little half angle, is an angle. So there's your transitive property of congruent angle. All right? I will tell you guys that for these mix and matches things, you can really help yourself out by just noticing the symbols. Right here I noticed it was an angle. So there's only like 3 angles I could pick from. Alright? So it really helps you to narrow it down. For example, the next one, angle ABC is congruent to angle ABC. That's your reflexive property. But because it's talking about angles, it's just reflexive property of congruent angles. And this leaves us with, you can kind of see where we're at. If x equals 6 and y equals x plus 10, then y equals 16. All we're doing is substituting a 6 in for x. Alright? So we get y equals 6 plus 10, which is 16. There's your substitution property. Shouldn't be too bad. Use the words to your advantage. If you see equality, that means there has to be an equal sign. If you see a congruent sign, it means to be congruent. Okay? And then make sure you guys know the reflexive symmetric transitive, RST 1, 2, 3. Okay? Using P and Q below are symbolic statements in words. This little squiggly line again is to negate, to not. So, there is rain. The negation of that is there is not, or there is not rain. Okay, there is no rain, there is not rain. Probably there is no rain better. Okay. Good. The game will be canceled. The negation of that. The game will not be canceled. Okay. Now, this symbol, the arrow going to the right, is read as implies. P implies Q. That's all well and good. All it's standing for is an if-then statement. If P, then Q. Well, what's P? There is rain. So, if there is rain, then the game will be canceled. Okay? If, then. And again, make sure you have those words. Notice that up here I didn't have if and then, because these are just statements. There's no implies. Okay, that was one thing I noticed on the last quiz. We did a lot of that. Negation Q implies negation P. So again, this is my first one now, but now I need the word not in there. If the game is not canceled, then there is no rain. Okay? Alright, now I know this is only the first half of the paper, but since it's the test, I want to take things a little slower, make sure we talked about everything. Hopefully these videos are helping you again. Please feel free to ask questions in class. If you guys would ever like any more examples of any of these, alright, I can gladly make up another worksheet, we can talk about them in class, we can do a little activity. Keep giving us feedback and we'll keep making the class better and better for you, okay? So stay tuned for our next video, and as always, good luck. We're all counting on you.